There's just something about Tucker Carlson which makes me love that man. You know, to see the last time I ever seen somebody call out another person of prominence to their face is when Donald Trump told Hillary Clinton, then you would be in jail. That right there shattered the veil. That's when the Matrix had a glitch when Trump did that. What was that, back in 2015? Now, did Trump follow through with it? Hell no. Should he have? Yes. Because as soon as they took power, what did they do? They tried to lock him up. Everybody forgets that Trump had to put up hundreds of millions of dollars for bail. Luckily, his Truth Social evaluation is what made him be able to afford that so that he could be able to travel and go to rallies. There was all kind of things against Trump at the time. But that was the last time I ever seen, or that was the first time I ever seen anybody of prominence call each other out to their face. We live in polite society. In polite society, everyone talks shit on the internet, but in real life, they're like up against each other's asses. They just everyone's an ass kisser. But not in this situation. Now, all of a sudden, Mark Cuban decided he wanted to be some sort of Democrat. I stopped liking him. He all of a sudden went from being a capitalist with conservative values because he's a man that's married with children to now he was basically trying to smooze the public by pulling the same communist bullshit everybody else is doing by offering to give away free stuff and trying to buy votes. What I think is that Mark Cuban realized is that the public is full of idiots and we're so dumb that all you got to do is just dangle a little something in our faces and we'll take it. But he also figured out what George Soros does. See, George Soros is a billionaire as well. But the way he does it is that he applies for grants and he's able to leverage our own tax dollars and use those to fund his NGOs that are basically trying to collapse our country. Mark Cuban figured out how to do that, but he's not a professional like Soros. He starts doing his virtue signaling bullshit. Tucker Carlson shut him the fuck down immediately. It was so embarrassing. It's so hilarious. I had to make a video and share it with you guys. Take a listen.
Mark, let me ask you a question. What's your take on whether we should be sending money to Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly, I don't have a good answer. I can make an argument, but
oh, by the way, fuck the Ukraine. I was one of the people that was my profile picture on Instagram for like a year. It just said, fuck the Ukraine. Everybody else is, I stand with Ukraine. No, you don't. You don't even know where it is on the map. You don't know the language. You don't know the history. What do you stand with? They just lost Pavrovsk today. Ukraine is smoked. We're not there to save their ass no more. They should have took the deal with the Russians. This was a lose. This war was over before it started. The Russians are in no hurry. And but when I say we, I mean all of NATO, we have zero smoke for the Russians because we're not suicidal. We're a little crazy, but we're not that crazy. So, but I'm sorry. Fuck the Ukraine, by the way.
ways, and half my family is Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, personally, I think we should help. But I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Well, why don't you fix their healthcare if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? Yeah. I notice that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's the good
vanity.
News. The good news is all the weapons were on loan lease. We're getting it back. And our dear president
should help. Blah, 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 blah. The weapons were on loan lease. We're not getting back shit. We're not getting back jack squat. Listen, if you add up the equipment, the weapons, think about it, the cost. So what we did was we went around to all the countries in NATO. The United States forced every country to demilitarize. What I mean is they forced every country to send all of their ammo, their fighter jets, their tanks, everybody, the Leopards and all these other tanks from Russia, and I mean from Germany and they had them all sent to the Ukraine. The Russians are not idiots. They have intel. They knew where all the storage depots were on the inside of the Ukrainian border. And do you know what the Russians did? Because they have air superiority that's likely stronger than ours. We just don't know their capabilities because we've never tested them. They destroyed all of the depots. What's really messed up is that in the Ukraine, they were going to use a dirty bomb against the Russians. So they took over all this, I believe it's like depleted uranium, and they had it in the western part of the Ukraine, and they were going to take it to the front in the Donbass, and they were going to use it against the troops. The Russians hit the depot where they were storing it, literally contaminated all of that part of western Ukraine. They can't grow shit, and no one talks about that because it was a strategic loss, a fumble. The Ukraine war is ridiculous, and I remember seeing all these people crying about the Ukraine, and I'm like, do you know how much money? 500 billion. Now we're looking north of that. They try to say conservative numbers, 350 billion. But they're mad at Trump because he gave Javier Milei 40 million. Do you know what 1 billion is? 1 billion is hundreds of millions. I mean, a billion is, what is it, like 909? It's like north. It's basically 1,000 million. It's a big ass number. I forgot how do we explain it in English, but a billion is a lot. So when you send 500 billion to a foreign country that we're not allies with, we don't owe them anything. And then Joe Biden was a quid pro quo. He made them fire the Ukrainian prosecutor that was investigating him and his son's company, Burisma, that they were on the board of, because there was some other nefarious things going on. It's like they backdoored the Ukrainians and they bought off all the politicians so that the politicians would not stop them from going to war with the Russians. It's like they wanted these people to suicide themselves. So we know all of that. This interview was recent. And this man is still on stage virtue signaling about the Ukraine. He's like, oh, yeah, half of my family's Ukrainian. And Tucker Carlson asks the most brilliant question. Why haven't you sent them any money then? If you love them so much, why haven't you? He's like, yeah, we should help. And Tucker Carlson's like, what do you mean we? Who's we? You're the billionaire. You go help. Fly over there, sprinkle money into the accounts of Ukrainian people, help their infrastructure. Matter of fact, if you want to fix healthcare so bad, go fix theirs. Go run for office over there. Go help them. Their virtual signal was destroyed. I'm sorry, this video is so good. I keep interrupting, but excuse me.
But I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Why don't you fix that?
What do you mean you're trying to fix health? Who are you to fix healthcare? Mark, you got lucky with PayPal. Very lucky. You sold it. You made a lot of money. You bought the Mavericks, made a lot of money. You're not necessarily, some kind of savant or a genius. What were you going to do for healthcare, Mark Cuban? Not a goddamn thing. You're trying. Did you solve healthcare? You're not in power, but you could have started a company. You could have came up with some kind of organization. You were lying. It was a grift. All these people are grifters and liars, and everyone's figured out that the American public are a bunch of suckers. And now everyone's trying to figure out, well, shit, if they're suckers, if they're gonna be a fool for somebody, might as well just be a fool for me. I mean, all these other people are scamming you. Why not me? I might as well jump in on it. A complete opportunist. Yeah, he has money, but he's like one of those miserable billionaires. All that money, and now he wants to wear these horn-rimmed glasses and say all this weird stuff on the internet, on these interviews, like he's running for office. But when Tucker, and this is why they hate Tucker. There's a campaign right now. Tucker's not MAGA. You know why? Because Tucker's not MEGA. Tucker is like me. we're not make Israel great again. I don't give a fuck about no Israel. Why would I? I live in the United States of America. I'm an American. I have a constitution. I have a constitutional right to say, I don't like these countries. I don't like these people. I don't have to like anybody. Because Tucker Carlson took an interview with Nick Fuentes, now he's public enemy number one. But don't forget, it's people like Mark Cuban that'll pay to promote the anti-Tucker rhetoric that's going around because Tucker embarrassed the shit out of him. We're going to play this. We're going to rewind it back. We're going to listen to Mark Cuban's bullshit, and we're going to let you guys hear it one more time before I end the video.
Ukraine or not? Were you in favor of that?
Man, they need it.
I mean, honestly,
I
don't have a good answer. I can make an argument both ways, and half my family is Ukrainian from my grandparents. And so, personally, I think we should help. But I don't have a studied answer for you.
How much money have you sent to Ukraine?
None.
Oh, so what do you mean by we? You're the one whose family's from Ukraine. Like, why don't you send them $1 billion?
Because I'm trying to fix healthcare.
Well, why don't you fix their healthcare if you're like so deep? If you think we need to help, why don't you start? How about you first? Yeah. I notice that's never like even an option for anybody. It's like, we need to help. That's not what charity is. Forcing other people to help is not charity.
Here's the good vanity. The good news is all the weapons.
Absolutely. Forcing other people to help is not charity. That's not you trying to get the rest of us to pay for your endeavor. You're the one that's Ukrainian on your grandparents' side. You're the one. You're the billionaire. You got all types of money. You go give them your money. Why are you talking about us? I don't know. Half my family's not from the Ukraine. I'm Cuban. That's like me saying, hey, there was a big flood in Cuba. We should help. But I'm sitting 90 miles away. I'm sitting on like hundreds of, $1 billion. And I'm like, yeah, we should help. Okay, you go first. And people looked at me crazy like, okay, Rico, why aren't you helping individually? Why aren't you finding out who over there is dispersing money, help people get on their feet, or whatever you need to do? Why are you waiting for the government? Why don't you go do it yourself? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Oh, because you're a scammer and you're a opportunist. You talk all that virtue signaling shit, but you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is. Tucker Carlson, and listen, they're not sitting across from each other. They're sitting next to each other. The man spoke to Mark Cuban with zero fear. He literally called him out, and then he doubled down. He said, well, who's we? He was like, well, if you love the Ukraine so much, why don't you spend your own money? Well, I'm trying to fix healthcare. Well, if you love Ukraine so much, why don't you fix their healthcare? See, you're more worried about spending, you're talking about sending money to another fucking foreign country. You're not talking about spending a penny in my country where you live. So if you love this other country so much as you want to give them money, why don't you go there? That's not a bad suggestion. When people tell me about these other countries, oh yeah, Israel, this and this. Well, Brandon, why don't you take Brandon Tatum's black ass and why don't you go live there? You guys love Israel, right? MEGA, make Israel great again. I remember watching an interview with Dan fucking Bongino, and the interviewer says, so what's something personal that's near and dear to you? What's a cause that's near and dear to you? And Bongino says, Israel? Helping Israel? Is that the right answer? And I'm like, what type of answer is that? How could another country that you don't speak, none of you guys speak Yiddish. Cuba doesn't speak Ukrainian, but yet you guys are willing to open the purse of the United States to send money there, but you won't open your own purse in your pocket. You're not funding this stuff yourself. You want me to fund it with my tax dollars. People who don't even like me. If the Ukrainians liked Americans so much, maybe they wouldn't be asking us for all this fucking money to burn. Because trust me, when the Russians hit all those silos with all that equipment in there, our money burned. Don't get me wrong, the military-industrial complex got paid. These countries I believe they were reimbursed for all the equipment they sent to the Ukraine, but it was just a big money hole, and the military-industrial complex got paid out of this world because they knew Trump was coming back and that shit was going to be over anyway. They got their money, hundreds of billions of dollars, and it's all gone. Remember, Zelensky wouldn't even let us do an audit. We really don't know how much money they got. We don't know. And Mark Cuban saying he wants to send more. What do we always say here, guys? You can go to hell. We send a lot of people we tell everybody to go to hell here. We send everyone to hell. Tucker Carlson just sent Mark Cuban to hell right now. That was what do you like? That's what I would have. Like, what do you mean we? Why? What do you're the one with all the money. That's like me going to a dinner with a billionaire. And he's like, and I order a water because I ate at home. And I'm drinking water and everyone's eating dinner. And then the check comes, and then the billionaire is like, okay, let's all split it up, guys. We need to pay the bill. What do you mean we? You're the billionaire here. You ate the majority of the food. Everybody else just ate like appetizers. Why don't you spend your own money? You pay. What do you mean we? Why would I chip in on your endeavor? I'm here eating. I'm here drinking water and listening. I'm not even a part of this. But you want me to spend money? Get the fuck out. Go to hell. Go to hell, all the way to hell. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. I could not believe this man literally tried to play this in front of Tucker and didn't think Tucker was going to immediately push. Not only he doubled and tripled down. Tucker was like, well, what do you mean? Why don't you fix their health care? If that's a country your family's from, it's so near and dear to you, it's because Mark Cuban's probably lying. He's probably not part Ukrainian. He's virtue signaling for votes. See, remember, people have started to figure out the scam in America, the exploits in our political system. And everyone's going to be jumping to take advantage of it. You know, eventually, if I decide to run for office, I'm going to prove it to you guys. I'm going to use the exploits, and I'm going to push myself ahead. And then if I win, I'm going to say, you know, this is all just a big fucking hustle to show you that this is all bullshit, right? I'd prove it to you all. Tucker Carlson was brilliant right now. So when everybody keeps saying he's not MAGA, you know, who MAGA is whoever we say it is. Not who Ben Shapiro says it is or a bunch of fucking Zionists. It's whoever regular Americans like me. I can just decide that I'm MAGA. It's not like there's an approval. You got to have a certain credit score. You're MAGA if you say you're MAGA. Period. I don't need anybody to validate me. I'm America first because I say I'm America first, and I'm America only. Fuck the Ukraine. Fuck sending money to Israel. We don't want to do it. We don't support any of that. No foreign intervention. You know, we call that in the hood. It's called you handle your own candle. You want to pick a fight, then you fight it out. Don't expect us to come save you every time. Or maybe stop talking shit. Try that strategy. Try not getting into it with people if you can't fight them on your own. Share the video. Let me know what you think. Right Wing Rico, the single boyfriend. This was hilarious. I haven't seen a call out like this to somebody's face. The rest of the video is them just making up excuses for the money in the Ukraine. And we're not getting shit back from them. We're not getting shit back from Israel. We don't even know what we're paying for in Israel. We don't have just money wasted. Like all that USA. Now, see, I know what they did with the USAID money. I don't know what they're doing with the Ukrainian money. I don't know what they're doing. I just know it comes back to us. That's why Zelensky said, what money? That money never came to us. We got 15% of it. The rest of it went back to the United States. I don't know. You know, it all seems like a big scam to me. Just a bunch of hustles to dip into the tax base of the American purse. Just robbing us blind left and right. I'm so glad Tucker called out Mark Cuban and embarrassed him in front of the world. No one's going to take Cuban seriously because you can just play this interview and just see that he's a joke. He's a joke. So I'll see you guys again. We'll be back on the live in about 20 minutes. Thanks.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.